Hello everybody and welcome to ButteredGaming. I'm ButteredToast III and today I'm coming to you to show off my sort of Dungrove Elders deck here. And there is a little bit of light coming in through here as you can kind of see my shadows. So I'm kind of hoping it doesn't affect the video too much, but there it is. Now for those of you who saw my previous Dungrove Elders video, you're going to know that this is a mono green deck, but for those of you who haven't seen the video, now you know. Alright, so you're not going to really be able to tell just from the top, but it is mono green as you can see. And the point of the deck really is to get a Dungrove Elder, as the title might indicate to you, after you ramp your mana pretty hard. So as you'll notice, the top card is Burnished Hart. It's going to be trying to give me some mana. And for those of you who did see the previous video, the reason I changed the deck a little bit was because I was noticing I was not getting as much mana as I was kind of hoping I would get. It's not a very fast deck, so yeah, so there, well, I don't know where I was going with the fast thing, but there it is. Alright, so to start off, we kind of start with the artifacts, as you can see. Now, as always, I will have a list of the cards in the description below, or you can click on the link in the description below to see a list on MTGFanatic. We're going to start with our artifacts. We only have a couple different artifacts in here, but the first artifact we have a couple Burnished Hearts. I only put them in because I was really looking for some more mana ramp, and this is kind of what I had. I just got a bunch of Theros cards, and here they are. So I had them, I put them in. Burnished Heart, 3-drop for 2/2, but the purpose of it really is to pay 3 mana to sacrifice it and search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. I mean, it is 6 mana for only 2 extra mana on the field, but I mean, what it's good for really is to put it on the field and then be able to block something, and then before it dies, you can sack it and get your mana. So there's that. Maybe not the best thing to have, but it's what I had on me. So next we've got 3 Traveler's Amulets, as you can see. It's a 1-drop to put it on the field, and then you can pay 1 to sacrifice it, search your library for basic land card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and then shuffle. So basically, it's kind of a Rampant Growth, only you put it into your hand instead of on the field. But it's good for just getting more mana. I mean, I needed mana ramp, so I also had these. As you'll notice, these are also Theros, so just had them, put them in, you know. Alright, so next we're going to start looking at sort of the green cards in the deck, which is pretty much the rest of them except for mana. So let's take a look here real quick. So here that is. All those cards are green. Alright, so the first kind of card we got here is our Blanchwood Armor. And I've got 3 of those, as you see. They're kind of old. They're 10th edition. Hers is Sage, I believe that one is. So Blanchwood Armor, 3-drop to enchant a creature, and it gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. So basically what I use them for is I'll get a Dungrove on the field. For those of you who don't know what Dungrove Elders are, they come on the battlefield, and then their power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests you control. So basically what this card does is it will, in effect, double the power and toughness of your Dungrove Elders, which is amazing because in this deck, what I really try to go for is I try to ramp out and get all my mana on the field, which in this case is 25. I'll show you that later. But and in that case it'd be a 25/25 Dungrove Elder if I get all of them on the field. Then if you put a Blanchwood or 2 on it, it's going to be up to 50 or 75, and it's going to be incredible. And you can even put those on other creatures in the deck if you have enough mana on the field. 25/25, good enough, right, for anything. Even if it's a 0/0, you just put it on the field. And then, so yeah, and a little bit of ramp we have here. I only have 1 of these in here. It's a Boundless Realms. I used to have more, but it kind of turned into kind of a situation where it really wasn't helping me out too much. But it's a 7-drop, as you'll notice. Mine is foil. Just you know, put that out there. All right. So anyway, it's a 7-drop to search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of lands you control, and put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So it's really nice for doubling the amount of mana It's really nice for doubling the amount of mana you already have on the field, but otherwise it didn't help as much as I was kind of hoping it would. I did keep 1 in the deck, as you'll see. Alright, so the next kind of ramp card we have here is our Cultivate. I got a play set of those. 3-drop to search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put it on the battlefield tapped, or put 1 on the battlefield tapped, and 1 in your hand. So those are really nice too, because you do get 1 extra mana out of it, and then you also have 1 in your hand to put on the field next turn, even if you don't. Well, if you don't have a mana in your hand at the time, it would be good to put on the field. And then you just even have another one for a couple turns later, so it's just good for, you know, populating your mana pool. That's what a lot of these cards are in here for. So next we're going to kind of see the star of the show. I keep talking about them. They got the Dungrove Elders here. And again, I do have a play set of those. And you'll notice I got the full art foily one here going. So you may also be able to notice kind of beat up. That's my fault. So anyway, it's a 3-drop for hexproof, and power and toughness each equal to the number of forests you control. So hexproof number 1, your opponents can't target it with spells or abilities, which is amazing because then they can't just murder it right off. Plus, as I said, if you have enough mana on the field, it's going to be like 25-25 or something. It's going to be incredibly huge, which is just amazing. So if you can also put like trample or something on it, that's incredible too. But either way, so in this deck, the focus is kind of ramping out your cards. You saw a couple of ramp cards. We'll get to more of them towards the end of the deck. I sorted these cards like they were sorted on MTGFanatic, so you're not really seeing it in the best order. So I think next time maybe I'll do it in my own order. But anyway, next card we got here in the list is our Elderscale Wurm. 7-drop for 7/7 trample, but the good thing about this card is that it's got the ability that when it enters the battlefield, if your life total is less than 7, your life total becomes 7, and then as long as you have 7 or more life, damage that would reduce your life equal to less, or total to less than 7 reduces it to 7 instead, which is incredible because, as I said earlier, this deck is really not the fastest deck in the world. I mean, this is a little bit of an expensive card, but once you get it out on the field, you don't even have to worry about blocking your opponent's attacks anymore. You can just sit there and take it because you're not going to go anywhere less than 7 life. This one, however, is not hexproof, so they can murder it, so you got to be careful with that. I do only have one of those in this deck as well. And another attempt to get some more life is the Engulfing Slagwurm here. It's a 7-drop for a 7/7 again, same as the Elderscale, but what this one does is whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, destroy the creature that is blocking or becomes blocked by this creature, and then you gain life total equal to that creature's toughness, which is pretty nice because this card never even takes any battle damage, because whenever it blocks, not whenever damage is calculated. So you block, and immediately you're just destroying that card. No damage calculation is applied, and it's not specifically targeting. So you can use this against hexproof cards, which is amazing. I've used it against a Thrun the Last Troll, and it was in Duels of the Planeswalker game. So I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. So it's a pretty amazing card. I only have one in the deck, so creatures are not really the focus of this deck too much. Next, I got another Theros card in here. I got a couple Mistcutter Hydras. Again, I just had them on me, so I just kind of stuck them in there. They are Theros for Forest and an X-drop for 0/0 again. But the good thing about it is it comes on the battlefield and it cannot be countered, so that's one nice thing. And it does have haste, which is another great thing. So once you put it on the field, in this deck again, you have a ton of mana. So you can put it on the field. If you have all your mana on the field, in this deck I have 25, I keep saying that. But if you have all your mana on the field, then you put one of these on the field, it's a 24/24 with haste and protection from blue. So if you're fighting a blue deck, you just run right by them. But I mean, that's not why I put it in this deck. And it enters the battlefield with the X+1/+1 counters on it, as I said before. So I just had those, put them in there. They're pretty good, especially with the amount of mana you get in this deck. Alright, so next I've got another attempt to keep some mana, or not some mana, some life rolling. We've got a playset of Predator's Rapport here. And what Predator's Rapport does is it's a 3-drop for choosing a target creature you control, and you gain life equal to that creature's power plus its toughness. Which, for example, if you take even an Engulfing Slagwurm or something, you're going to be gaining 14 life right there. So that's a pretty good card. Again, I'm trying to get some more life back into the deck so we don't die before we manage to pull out a Dungrove Elder. Alright, so next we've got another Hydra. We got a Primordial Hydra, which is a 2 forest X drop for 0/0 again. And then there's a battlefield with X+1/+1 counters on it again, which is nice, especially if you have a ton of mana in this deck. But the great thing about this card is at the beginning of your upkeep, you double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, which is amazing. So even if you put, say, 5, you pay 7 mana for this, you'd put 5 counters on it. The next turn you can use it, it would have 10, which, again, as long as it has 10 or more, I actually haven't said this before, so I don't know why I said it again, but if it has 10 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has trample. So even if you just pay 7 mana for it, the first turn you use it, you're going to have, for the next turn, you're going to have a 10/10 with trample, so that's nice. I only have 1 in the deck again, but hey, it's pretty nice. So next we're coming up on some more of our ramp cards. We've got a play set of a Rampant Growth here. Rampant Growths are nice because it's a 2-drop to search your library for basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. So I mean, it's not that great. It's a really good early game card for getting some mana on the field, but any amount helps in this deck because, again, the more mana you have, the stronger the creatures you have. So play set of that. It's good stuff. And then some more ramp. Last ramp card we got in here is play set of the Ranger's Path. So Ranger's Path is a 4-drop for searching your library for up to 2 basic land or 2 forest cards, and put them on the battlefield tapped and then shuffle your library. Again, good for getting mana. I mean, it is a 4-drop, but hey, it does help. It's not that hard to get 4 mana in this deck, trust me. And then the last card we've got that's not a forest is our Worldspine Wurm, which is a 11-drop for 15/15, which is nice just by itself. And again, in this deck, it's actually pretty feasible to get it on the field. But then it's also got Trample, which is really nice. Trample is always good on strong creatures like this. And then when it dies, you can put 3 5/5 green worm tokens on the green worm creature tokens with Trample on the battlefield. So that's nice too, because even 5/5s for most decks, it's pretty powerful. And then when it dies, when it is put into the graveyard, which is when it dies, so you're going to put 3 5/5 green worm creature tokens on the battlefield. Then you're going to put it in the graveyard, but instead of putting it in the graveyard, you're going to shuffle it into your library. So that's amazing too, because if it does die, if someone does murder it, you're going to have the 3 green worm creature tokens, and then you're just going to be able to shuffle it back into your deck and maybe get it back again. And then I keep mentioning these lands. We've got 25 forests, and that's all we got left. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you liked it. Hope I gave you some ideas. It seems to be working pretty well for me. I changed it about a week ago. I played a couple times with it. Seems to be getting a good amount of mana for me. So thank you very much for watching, and come again next time. Hope you liked watching the video. If you did, you can click on the most recent upload there to see a Java tutorial, or you can click on the most recent in this playlist box there to see a deck showcase on +1/+1 counters deck.